What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today I'm diving into my full spoiler breakdown in Roast of the Strangers Chapter 2. If you haven't already, I did a spoiler-free review, so check that one out first because here we're going all in. I'm talking literally everything this movie throws at us, scene by scene, beat by beat. And I am not going to hold back because, man, this movie doesn't just miss the mark, it takes the mark, throws it out the window, lights it on fire, and then dances on the ashes. This isn't just bad, this movie somehow redefines what bad even looks like. So buckle up because we're about to wade through this dumpster fire. Let's begin. The movie kicks off in 2021 in the tiny little town of Venice, Oregon. Right away, we're in a diner, the kind of place that looks like a knockoff Sid from a Hallmark original movie. We meet Shelley, a waitress, and Frank Quarantino, some random dude the script is desperate for you to believe is important. He's not. He's basically the horror movie equivalent of a red shirt from Star Trek. They try to play mysterious with Shelley passing the info along to some unseen person in the shadows. Ooh, intrigue. Except not really, because we've all seen this play out before. Later that night, we get the famous "Is Tamara home, Naka?" Except this time, it feels like they're just running through the franchise's greatest hits on autopilot. Shelley knocks on Frank's mortal door, does the line, and within 5 minutes is dragged out into the woods and butchered. And the worst part? They end the scene hugging in the rain. I'm not kidding, they're covered in blood, but the vibe is like a Hallmark Christmas commercial. You almost expect soft piano music to swell as Dollface and Scarecrow hold each other like they just got engaged. Right here, I knew what kind of grab bridge I was in for. Fast forward to 2023. Maya Lucas is in Venice County Hospital recovering after her run-in with the strangers. She's traumatized, shaken, and of course no one believes her. The sheriff and his deputy show up and immediately dismiss everything she says, because apparently in horror sequels there's a law against having incompetent law enforcement. These guys are more worried about protecting their town's reputation than the fact that people are being slaughtered left and right. And at this point, I already rolled my eyes. Corrupt small town cops? Really? That's the best you could do? It feels like the movie raided the cliche bargain bin at Walmart. From there, the movie devolves into what I can only describe as a 90-minute marathon of run, hide, repeat.
One hour later. 2 hours later. 6 hours later. Several days later.
Maya's trapped in the hospital. The strangers are lurking around, and instead of suspense, it's just noise. She runs into Scarecrow in the morgue, where he kills an elderly in the most bland, lifeless way. We're supposed to care, but I couldn't even remember the elderly's name. Maya escapes, stumbles into a horse farm, and immediately, boom, the owner gets skewered by a pinup girl with a crossbow.
You serious?
Yes, a crossbow. I had to check my ticket stub to make sure I wasn't watching a bad Hunger Games ripoff. For one fleeting second, the movie teased me with potential. Maya actually picks up a pitchfork and fights back. I thought, okay, here we go. Maybe we're getting a gritty survivalist angle. Maybe Maya's about to turn into Sarah Connor. Nope. False alarm. She drops the weapon and it's back to running and screaming like a generic final girl. She later hitches a ride with a nurse and her roommate Chris, which sounds like it could lead to some fun paranoia. Instead, it's the same song and dance. Maya panics, assumes they're in on it, and bolts. The movie keeps dangling tension in front of us, but never actually cashes in. It's all bark, no bite. Then comes the scene that absolutely broke me. Maya finds an abandoned campsite, builds a fire to rest, and out of nowhere, I swear I'm not making this up, she's attacked by a wild boar. Yes, a wild freaking boar. Apparently Scarecrow just let it loose for fun. This scene was so ridiculous. My theater erupted in laughter. People were all literally giggling at the screen like we were watching Scary Movie 6. And honestly, it felt like a parody. When your slasher villain is upstaged by a pig, you've officially lost the plot. At this point, I mentally dropped my rating down another star. Wait, it gets worse. The movie decides to humanize the killers. We suddenly get random flashbacks of Pinup Girl as a child. Turns out she killed a girl named Tamara out of jealousy, and that's where the infamous line comes from. So not only did they explain Tamara, they gave her a melodramatic backstory. Why? Why would you ever explain the mystique? The entire point of The Strangers is that the killers are terrifying because they're random, because it could happen to anyone. The second you explain it, you killed magic. They may as well have ended out trading cards with their stats in tragic origins. He stumbles back to the original cabin, changes clothes, and meets a state cop named Billy Bufford. For a second, I thought, cool, back up, maybe things are turning around, but nope, he's dead within 5 minutes. Thanks for stopping by, Billy. Maya steals his car, which of course breaks down, because every car in horror movies is apparently powered by plot convenience. She ends up at a random house with Gregory, Danica, Chris, and Wayne. They sit around talking about the strangers like they're cryptids or local legends, which could have been cool, but instead it's just filler dialogue until everyone gets butchered anyway. None of them matter. It's like the writers were stalling for time to pad out the runtime. And then comes the big finale. Maya gets shoved into an ambulance, stabs Pinup Girl with scissors, thinks she's won, but surprise, she's still alive. Maya crashes the ambulance, and Pinup Girl goes flying through the windshield in what should have been an epic kill, but instead plays out like a bad YouTube stunt video. That's how she dies, that's it. Dollface and Scarecrow hold each other over a body, like the movie wants us to feel bad. Sorry, but I don't sympathize with serial killers just because you tossed in a sob story. Credits roll, and I swear I felt physical relief when the screen went black. Then, and I kid you not, right when I thought it was over, the movie It's Me with fake giant to be continued plastered across the screen. I almost fell out of my seat laughing, like, excuse me? You just served me 100 minutes of preheated garbage, and now you're telling me there's some horror? Who asked for this? Nobody walked out of this theater saying, man, I need chapter 3 immediately. This wasn't hype. It was delusion. It felt like the movie was holding me hostage, whispering, you're not free yet. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh yeah, Strangers Chapter 2 is one of the worst horror sequels I've ever had to sit through. It's lazy, it's repetitive, it's overstuffed with cliches, and it completely misunderstands what made the first movie so effective, even though I don't love it. The endless chase scenes are intense, they're exhausting. The boar attack isn't scary, it's comedy. The backstory doesn't add depth, it destroys the mystique. This is horror filmmaking at its sloppiest. Honestly, between this and War of the Worlds earlier this year, I don't know which one wins worst of 2025. They're neck and neck, but I think this one edges it out just because it actively ruined The Strangers as a concept for me. So yeah, I despised The Strangers Chapter 2. But what about you? Did you hate it as much as I did? Did you find anything at all redeemable in this mess? Maybe you thought the boar scene was so bad it was hilarious. Either way, I want to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments. Thanks for sticking with me through this rant, and as always, I'll see you in the next review. Goodbye for now.